Today we are going to learn about special type of refraction where light rays travel from denser to rarer medium. In this diagram, light ray travels from denser to rarer medium, glass to air, and so it moves away from the normal. If the angle of incidence is 40 degree, then the angle of refraction will come nearly equals to 75 degree. We can calculate this because we know the refractive index of glass is 1.5. In this second diagram, we can see that the angle of incidence is increased by 1 degree and the corresponding refracted ray is bending far away from the normal towards the surface of separation when it is traveling from the denser medium glass to the rarer medium air. Corresponding angle of refraction we can calculate and find out it will be nearly equals to 80. In this diagram we can see that the angle of incidence is again increased by 1 degree, it becomes 42 degree, and the angle of refraction becomes 90 degree. Refracted ray passes through the surface of separation when the light ray travels from denser medium to the rarer medium. Angle of incidence 42 and the corresponding angle of refraction becomes 90 degree. This particular angle of incidence for which we get corresponding angle of refraction 90 degree is known as critical angle. So the definition of critical angle is the angle of incidence in the denser medium corresponding to which the angle of refraction in the rarer medium is 90 degree. Here are some of the substances whose angle of incidence is given and the corresponding angle of refraction in the rarer medium is 90. For water, angle of incidence is 49, for which the corresponding angle of refraction is 90. For glass it is 42 and for diamond it is nearly equals to 25. These angles of incidence for which the corresponding angle of refraction in the rarer medium is 90 is known as the critical angles. These are the critical angles of these particular substances. Factors affecting the critical angle. There are two factors, the color or the wavelength of light and the temperature. We know violet among all the colors, all the 7 colors has the maximum wavelength, whereas red has the least wavelength. Critical angle increases with the increase of wavelength of light and it decreases with the increase of temperature. In this diagram, light ray is supposed to pass from denser medium to the rarer medium, glass to air. Angle of incidence is taken as 43 degree. We know that for glass, critical angle is 42 degree, for which the angle of refraction is 90 degree. And when angle of incidence is more than the critical angle, light ray is reflected back in the same medium. This particular phenomena is known as total internal reflection, and here we find angle of incidence is equals to angle of reflection. So the definition of total internal reflection: when a ray of light travels from denser to rarer medium and the angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle for the pair of media, then the ray is totally reflected back into the denser medium. Totally reflected back means 100% of the light energy is reflected back. Nothing is wasted due to absorption or refraction. Conditions for TIR or total internal reflections are: light ray must travel from denser to rarer medium, and the angle of incidence must be greater than the critical angle for the pair of media. Difference between total internal reflection and reflection by a plane mirror. Total internal reflection takes place when a ray of light travels from denser to rarer medium and the angle of incidence is more than critical angle. Whereas reflection takes place when a ray of light is incident on a plane mirror from any medium for any angle of incidence. Total internal reflection, the entire light is reflected back to the same medium, whereas ordinary reflection, only a part of light is reflected. There is no loss of energy for total internal reflection. For ordinary reflection, only a part undergoes reflection, so rest of the energy either it undergoes refraction or it is lost. For total internal reflection, image is much brighter, whereas ordinary reflection, it is less brighter.